हेलो फ्रेंड्स एंड हेलो माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स। आज हम क्लास 10 का हिस्ट्री का थर्ड चैप्टर पढ़ेंगे। टुडे वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस द थर्ड चैप्टर ऑफ हिस्ट्री, दैट इज द राइज ऑफ नेशनलिज्म इन इंडिया। एंड I am not going to discuss in detail, but as the exam is concerned, so that I am going to discuss. The first thing I would like to request you, or you must prepare. The first question from this chapter is called the sense of collective belongingness. Just like in chapter 1, you must have studied the collective belongingness. Here also one question may come, that is the sense of collective belongingness. मतलब in India, how did Indians get that collective belongingness, or they got together to fight against the British people? The first thing is that we must know what is nationalism. Nationalism means here when there is a one type of feeling. When you feeling, for example, when there is match between the India or Pakistan or India, Australia, then you people all support to India. That's your nationalism. Because a sense when we get together nationally, irrespective of your caste, creed, religion, that is called nationalism. So here during British rule, how did it come? That we are going to discuss under the heading sense of collective belongingness. The first thing is that to bring unity, a lot of factors played important. For example, that is the cultural factors. First factor, please remember cultural factors. Under cultural factor, you can discuss about Indian history, Indian fiction, Indian songs, popular prints. All these together brought unity among the Indians. That's under the heading cultural factors. The second point is the idea of Bharat Mata. Bharat Mata, there was just like Germania or in France, Germany. In the same way, in India also Bharat Mata was painted, and that also brought unity among the Indians. Second point is Bharat Mata. Third one, you can say role of playing birds. I'm talking about those who used to go village to village and they used to sing and tell the story of the kings, queens of Indian history. They're called birds. So role of playing birds, and even they collected songs, even the folklores, all this also help to create a collective belongingness or sense of collective ideas. And afterwards, role of Tagore played very important role. Plus even the use of tricolor during the Swadeshi movement, role of reconstruction of Indian past history, writing on art, religion, law, philosophy, all this together brought a sense of belongingness. So please prepare a question on sense of belongingness. The next question I'm coming, that is Rowlatt Act. It was passed in 1919, and in Rowlatt Act, Indians were arrested and they were detained without trial. So it was not good for Indians. So a short question may come on Rowlatt Act, that is of 1919. After that, Khilafat movement. All of you know that Khilafat movement is another question. Khilafat movement broke out around the world in support of Kamal Pasha, because Turkey was the part of First World War. All of you know that the First World War was fought US, France, UK, Russia in one side, Germany, Austria, Hungary, and Turkey. Here, Turkey was punished by removing the Kamal Pasha. He was the Sultan at that time of Turkey. He was removed. Now the Muslims around the world, they supported, in support of Kamal Pasha, they started Khilafat movement, because he was considered the Khalifa at that time. So in support of Khalifa Kamal Pasha, the Muslims of the world, they started Khilafat movement. And as India is concerned, there were two brothers, Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali. Both the brothers organized Khilafat movement in India, and they got the support of Indian National Congress. Mahatma Gandhi supported to Khilafat movement, so that he had his pre-plan that he expected the support from Muslim League in his freedom struggle. So anyway, the Khilafat movement was successful. The Kamal Pasha was reinstalled in the as Khalifa. With this, Khilafat movement came to an end around the world as well as in India. And the leaders of Khilafat movement in India were Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali. Two brothers, they were the leaders. So after Khilafat movement, One more question you can prepare, that is about the Sitaram Raju. In 1924, he organized guerrilla warfare against the British. So one question may come like this: why was the guerrilla movement started in the Gudem Hills of Andhra Pradesh? Who was its leader? So please prepare a question of this guerrilla warfare by Sitaram Raju in 1924. The next question is most important question: what were the economic impacts of national, that is called non-cooperation movement? What were the economic impacts of non-cooperation movement in India? Non-cooperation movement I'm talking, where Gandhiji decided to fight passively, not directly, because Gandhiji understood that Indians cannot fight directly. So Gandhiji thought that if they fight passively, if they do not support, do not cooperate, then the British will be forced to leave the country. But it failed, because for a long time we Indians could not stay away from the work. For example, almost all government schools, government colleges, lawyers, all they boycotted their office, college, school, college. But for a long time they could not, and they slowly they came back to their offices, because money is more important, survival is more important. So to survive they came back, and afterwards, after Chauri Chora incident, Gandhiji also was arrested, and in this way non-cooperation movement came to an end. But here we are discussing about that economic impacts. Yes, the one of the main reason or factor is that Indians started using Swadeshi, that is called khadi, and in West Bengal a lot of things were produced by the Indian businessman. So a sense of Indianness, whatever we say Swadeshi, the word Swadeshi born or was developed, or because out of this non-cooperation movement, Swadeshi movement was born. Next question: why was the non-cooperation movement gradually slow down? Just now I told you the reasons. Because for a long time the people could not stay away from work, and their income source became almost zero. So people were without money, particularly those who I'm talking about those who are working in government offices, government colleges, those who are government teachers, government lecturers, government professors, government doctors, government lawyers. I'm talking about them. So slowly they came back to their job. And with this, those movement came to an end. Secondly, just now I told you, after Chauri Chora incident, where the Indian policemen were killed by the freedom fighters, and Mahatma Gandhi called up the non-cooperation movement 1922, and Mahatma Gandhi also was arrested. So with this non-cooperation movement became slow. And the next question I have prepared here: what were the reasons for the participation of business class in civil disobedience movement? Here, yes, just now I told you that why did the Indian businessman supported to Mahatma Gandhi during civil disobedience movement? The fact that what you can write, that Indian businessmen, they wanted to protect their own business in India, and that is they wanted that there should be restriction on the import of foreign goods, because it's very clear, if import of foreign goods will be declined, then Indian goods, that Swadeshi goods, will be sold in the market and they can make more profit. So they had their own interest, and that is why the Indian businessmen, including the Billas, J.D. Billa, all they supported Mahatma Gandhi to restrict their one trade or one business. So they wanted that and particularly the colonial government, the British government, there was a lot of restriction for Indian businessmen. The British India was supporting to the foreign businessmen, they are English businessmen or European businessmen, whereas there was a lot of restriction for the Indian businessman. That is why the Indian businessmen supported to civil disobedience movement or Mahatma Gandhi, so that they thought that if this movement gets success, then they can dominate the business in India by restricting the import of foreign goods. That is why the Indian businessmen supported to the civil disobedience movement. Here another question we are going to discuss about the role played by the ladies during the civil disobedience movement. Now I have written the points. The first point is that uh, during Satyagraha, thousands of ladies they participated. First of all, a lot of ladies. In Indian culture that they are supposed to stay inside the home. For the first time, the ladies they dared to come out. So thousand ladies they participated in this movement. Secondly, they participated in protest march also. They came out. They started protesting on the street. Even they helped in the manufacturing of salt. Plus, also they were also the active members in the picketing against the foreign shops. Those who were selling the foreign clothes, in front of that shop, they started picketing, and many of them also went to jail because when they were protesting, they were arrested. They got arrested, and lastly, they considered the serving nation as the sacred duty. With good intention, the ladies of India during civil disobedience movement they participated. So, what the male did, they also did same thing. So, in this is the you can write the role played by the ladies during civil disobedience movement. At last, I want to discuss one question. The question is like this: list different social groups in the non-cooperation movement of 1921. The why did they support? Here, particularly, there are four classes: the middle class in the cities, the peasants in the Awadh, the tribals in Andhra Pradesh, and the plantation workers in Assam. Just now I told you. The first one is why the middle class supported. The middle class supported to non-cooperation movement because they wanted to go the central assembly. They wanted more power. So the people or the leaders of a particular city they supported to civil non-cooperation movement because they wanted to go as a representative to the central assembly and they wanted to gain more power. Secondly is coming the peasants of Awadh. So the peasants of Awadh, they supported because they wanted to reduction of revenue, land revenue. They were paying more revenue, and the talukdars, zamindars, they wanted get freedom from the talukdars, zamindars, as well as they wanted to get reduced the less revenue. So that is why they supported. The third thing, the tribals in Andhra Pradesh. Yes, here they took it otherwise. They took a militant way. They wanted Swaraj in a very different. That's why they started guerrilla warfare. I have already told you. And so they wanted Swaraj from the police because police was there torturing them, was exploiting them. So they wanted freedom because particularly they were tribal peoples. So the tribals wanted freedom. They did not want any interference from outside. So that is why they supported the non-cooperation. And lastly, I have the plantation workers of Assam. So they also were exploited by their owners, and they wanted freedom. So for these four class they supported non-cooperation movement, and to some extent it was very much successful because due to this and that reason, and it was first time, so people did not have that much patience, and slowly the movement became slow. So friends, if you prepare all these questions, I am sure you can cover up this chapter and sure you will be doing good in your social science examination. So in the next video I'll be discussing about the fourth chapter of history. By the time, thank you.